How can this group of 6 monks give monks a blow? Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 136, Tipiṭaka, part 72, starring our special guest, the guy outside selling stuff. No. In this episode, I will be reciting Pācittiya 74, perhaps 75, and we'll see how it goes from there. I have electricity again. Not using it at the moment. I like to go natural, sunlight. The candles don't really contribute much. See, if I did it in the dead of night, then you wouldn't have all this noise pollution. However, you'd have these, like, bright white lights that are very artificial feeling, and it's just so I'm going for visual aesthetics. So my apologies to the people on the audio only. Our special guest today, Green Tara. She, of course, has been a guest on this program before. And this Green Tara in particular is able to do a little trick. See? She transforms into a very small silver Green Tara. Okay, thank you. A green Tara, why not? I already had, of course, the silver one, and I saw a green one in Darjeeling, and I thought, I have to have a green Tara. I also got, at that same time, a green Chenrizig, but green Tara is, what could be more appropriate than that? Anyway, right, so I guess that's it for now. Sorry I've been gone for a few days. I've been working on a lot of other projects. If you're curious, the DNA Alphabet Explained, it's I mentioned before that I had published that DNA Alphabet book. That link there explains the letters in detail, and I did my very best impression of a normal person. See these yellow books here? Those are Isaac Asimov's Foundation series beside the Dune books, the original 6, of course. Because when I was sitting in front of the bookshelf to shoot that video, I noticed that there was a big stack of Osho books, and I thought I might lose some of the more grounded people in the world. If they saw me talking and then they were like, "What? Why does he have so many Osho books? All right, I'm done," and then click away, where if I had the Isaac Asimov and the Dune. Well, anyway, there you have the logic on that. How is everybody? We had an earthquake. That was wild. Apparently it was a 5.7 in Nepal, and did some damage there. When I first looked at the map, I don't know why, I thought it was in Bhutan, so I was asking if everybody was okay in Bhutan. They're like, we didn't feel it in Bhutan. But we felt it here in Delhi. It was just sort of a rolling around at 2 a.m. We were, of course, wide awake watching Vampire Diaries. Monk stuff. No, not really a monk. All right. Should we get to it? Why not? Pācittiya. Expiation. Pācittiya 74. At one time, the enlightened one, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, the group of 6 monks... Why are you guys all crowded around Tara like that? What is she, your mommy? I'm sure you're violating some rule of expiation or other. Now at that time, the group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, gave the group of 17 monks a blow. The rhinoceros represents the group of 17 monks. Important note here, in old-timey English, to give someone a blow meant to punch them. Not what it means today. So get that image out of your mind. That's a very dirty thing to have in your mind when we're reading such holiness. Yes, so these cried out. Monks spoke thus, quote, "Why do you, your reverences, cry out?" End quote. Quote, "Your reverences, this group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, gave us a blow." End quote. Those who were modest monks, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, "How can this group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, give monks a blow?" Question mark. End quote. 3 dots. Quote, "Is it true, as is said, that you, monks, angry, displeased, gave monks a blow?" End quote. Quote, "It is true, Lord." End quote. The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, "How can you, foolish men, angry, displeased, give monks a blow? It is not foolish men for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, close parentheses, pleased." 3 dots. "And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk, angry, displeased, should give a monk a blow, there is an offense of expiation." End quote. All right. Whatever means, next episode we'll do the flashback to what whatever means. Monk means 3 dots. A monk means another monk. Angry, displeased means dissatisfied, the mind worsened, stubborn. Should give a blow means if he gives a blow with the body or something attached to the body or with something that may be cast and even with a lotus leaf. Wow. There is an offense of expiation. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is ordained, parentheses and, close parentheses, angry, displeased, gives a blow, there is an offense of expiation. If he is in doubt as to whether one is ordained, 3 dots, if he thinks that one is not ordained when he is ordained, parentheses and, close parentheses, angry, displeased, 3 dots, offense of expiation. If angry, displeased, he gives a blow to one who is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. So just to be clear, if you're a monk in old times, Theravadan monk, or a monk today in a Theravadan order, and you walk up and you punch another monk, it's an offense of expiation. If you walk up and just punch a random guy, it's a wrongdoing, lesser offense. I wonder what the reasoning is there. I mean, I would assume that perhaps he deserved it. You know, if someone was harassing somebody, doing something, they said something really rude about the Buddha, you know, some random passerby walking down the street, and you just haul off and punch him. You're a monk, right? And you punch this guy, random person. It's a wrongdoing. But don't punch your fellow monk. What if he's like on probation or whatever, or what is it, suspended? Not expelled, but suspended because he's preaching anti-Buddhism while being a monk? Is it still a rule of expiation? Probably. Doesn't have that as a footnote. Okay, continuing. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he is in doubt as to whether one is ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that one is not ordained when he is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. You're not supposed to punch people. Come on. There is no offense if, being in some difficulty, he gives a blow desiring freedom. So if he's imprisoned and the warden says, I'll let you out if you give me a blow, meaning a punch, right? Punch in the nose. He's a weird warden. He likes that sort of thing. Then it's okay. Or, he's kidnapped by ruffians or thieves or something, and on his way to escape these guys, he punches one of them. Not even a wrongdoing. Self-defense. All right. If he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. The fourth meaning, the 74th. Well, that was mildly amusing. I tried to make it a little more amusing for some of you and horrifying for others of you. I hope that it wasn't too horrifying. Try to keep this G-rated, right? Okay, let's read another one, shall we? We're getting close to 93. Once we get to, we're on 75 now. This is about to be 75. When we get to 93, we'll be done with the rules of expiation. Then we'll move on to the next section. I think somebody, okay. Expiation, Pācittiya 75. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, the group of 6 monks, still here, we'll move the 17, just in case they're not in this one, angry, displeased, raised the palm of the hand against the group of 17 monks. They are in this one. All right. These, frightened of a blow, the palm of the hand. So a blow isn't necessarily a punch. Maybe it's more of a slap. Thank you, Will Smith, I guess. Anyway, monks spoke thus, quote, "Why do you, your reverences, cry out?" End quote. Quote, "Your reverences, this group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, raised the palm of the hand against us." End quote. Those who were modest monks, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, "How can this group of 6 monks, angry, displeased, raise the palm of the hand against the group of 17 monks?" End quote. 3 dots. For me, with my dad, it was this, because it was the back of the hand, not the front of the hand. This would be like, oh. But the back of the hand, you get some serious damage. It was the 80s. It's a different time. Anyway, quote, "Is it true, as is said, that you, monks, angry, displeased, raised the palm of the hand against the group of 17 monks?" End quote. Quote, "It is true, Lord." End quote. The Enlightened One, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, "How can you foolish men, angry, displeased, raise the palm of the hand against the group of 17 monks? It is not, foolish men, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses yet, close parentheses, pleased, 3 dots. And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk, angry, displeased, should raise the palm of the hand against a monk, there is an offense of expiation." Whatever means 3 dots. Monk means 3 dots. Against a monk means against another monk. Angry, displeased means 3 dots. Stubborn. Should raise the palm of the hand means if he lifts up the body or something attached to the body, and even at most a lotus leaf, there is an offense of expiation. I'm going to slap you with this lotus leaf. He's going to hit me with a lotus leaf. All right. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is ordained, parentheses and, close parentheses, angry, displeased, raises the palm of the hand, 3 dots, parentheses, C74, end parentheses. I'm just going to skip all this. It's the same as the last one, guys. 3 dots. There is no offense if, being in some difficulty, he raises the palm of the hand desiring freedom. if he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. The fifth, meaning the 75th. Cheers. These seem to be getting shorter. So don't punch people, especially monks if you're a monk. Don't raise your hand threatening like you're going to slap or punch or hit a monk, especially, but anybody. Unless you have to, right? To escape some terrible situation. In order to be free from it, you have to punch somebody, right? Okay. I won't explore that loophole. Expiation, Pācittiya, 76.
76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by...
At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, the group of 6 monks defamed a monk with an unfounded charge of an offense entailing a formal meeting of the order. I feel like we already covered this, but anyway. Those who were modest monks, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can the group of 6 monks defame, 3 dots, formal meeting of the order? End quote, 3 dots. Quote, is it true, as is said, that you, monks, defamed a monk with an unfounded charge of an offense entailing a formal meeting of the order? End quote. Quote, it is true, Lord, end quote. The Enlightened One, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, how can you foolish men defame, 3 dots, formal meeting of the order? It is not foolish men for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, close parentheses, pleased, 3 dots. And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk should defame a monk with an unfounded charge of an offense entailing a formal meeting of the order, there is an offense of expiation. End quote. Whatever means 3 dots, monk means 3 dots. Unfounded means unseen, unheard, unsuspected. Offense entailing a formal meeting of the order means any of the 13, parentheses, offenses entailing this penalty, end parentheses. Should defame means if he reprimands him or causes, parentheses, another, close parentheses, to reprimand him, there is an offense of expiation. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is ordained, and defames, parentheses, him, with an unfounded charge of an offense entailing a formal meeting of the order, there is an offense of expiation. If he is in doubt as to whether one is ordained, 3 dots. If he thinks that one is not ordained when he is ordained, 3 dots, offense of expiation. If he defames, parentheses, him, close parentheses, in respect of a falling away from right habits or a falling away from right views, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he defames one who is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he is in doubt as to whether one is or not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that one is not ordained when he is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. Don't hit people, don't threaten to hit people, and don't defame people, even if they're not monks, but especially if they're monks, if you're a monk, right? There is no offense if, thinking what is true, he reprimands him or causes, parentheses, another, close parentheses, to reprimand him, if he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. The 6th, meaning the 76th. All right, a little bit of free advertising for ConocoPhillips. Should we do one more? Yeah, why not? Expiation. Oh. I'm assuming the 6 monks are going to be in this one? Yes, they are. Anyway, okay. Expiation, Pācittiya, 77. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, the group of 6 monks intentionally aroused remorse in the group of 17 monks. They made him feel bad, or them, 17, saying, quote, "Your reverences, a rule of training laid down by the Lord says that a person under 20 years of age is not to be ordained. And you, parentheses, though, close parentheses, under 20 years of age are ordained, then perhaps you are not really ordained." End quote. These cried out, How old are they, 5? Monks spoke thus, quote, "Why do you, your reverences, cry out?" End quote. Quote, "Your reverences, this group of 6 monks intentionally aroused remorse in us." End quote. Wow, such articulate speech for 5-year-olds. No, it seems like these 6 monks, when it comes to their relation with the 17 monks, they're like a group of bullies. It's sort of like a gang, in those 80s movies where there'd be like a gang, give us your lunch money, this kind of thing, or we'll beat you up and put you in the trash can. But usually it's like 3 or 4 bullies, older guys, maybe 13, against one 9-year-old, or like 16-year-olds against a 12-year-old. But these are 6 monks against 17 monks. 6 guys making a whole group of 17 people cry. Different time, I guess? I don't know. It's fun to visualize. I'd like to see like a movie made out of this. Those who were modest monks, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, "How can this group of 6 monks?" I mean, that's all you need to say. How can that? They're just everything they do. I think there was one time they did something that wasn't wrong, and someone else got in trouble. How can this group of 6 monks intentionally arouse remorse in monks? End quote. Quote, "Is it true, as is said, that you, monks, intentionally aroused remorse in monks?" End quote. Quote, "It is true, Lord." End quote. What, are you proud of it? The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, "How can you, foolish men, intentionally arouse remorse in monks? It is not foolish men for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, close parentheses, pleased, 3 dots. And thus, monks, this rule of training should be set forth. Whatever monk should intentionally arouse remorse in a monk, thinking, quote, 'There will be no comfort for him even for a moment,' end quote. If, having done it for just this object, not for another, there is an offense of expiation." End quote. Whatever means 3 dots. Monk means 3 dots. In a monk means in another monk. Intentionally means a transgression committed knowingly, consciously, deliberately. Should arouse remorse means if he arouses remorse saying, quote within quotes that's not within quotes, saying apostrophe, "Surely you, parentheses, though, close parentheses, under 20 years of age are ordained. Surely you eat at the wrong time. Surely you drink strong drink. Surely you sit in a private place together with a woman." There is an offense of expiation. Having done it for just this object, not for another, means there comes to be no other object whatever, or whatsoever in modern English, parentheses, for which, close parentheses, to arouse remorse. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is ordained, parentheses, and, close parentheses, intentionally arouses remorse, there is an offense of expiation. If he is in doubt as to whether one is ordained, 3 dots. If he thinks that one is not ordained when he is ordained, 3 dots, offense of expiation. If he intentionally arouses remorse in one who is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. Lesser offense, if he's not a monk. If he thinks that one is ordained when he is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he is in doubt as to whether one is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If he thinks that one is not ordained when he is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. I feel like there's a really big loophole here, at least when it comes to people who aren't monks. Because if you go to someone's house and collect alms from them, and then you start saying, oh, I noticed that you've been hanging out with the neighbor's wife a little bit too often, Larry. And then he feels bad. People say, why did you make Larry feel bad? He's like, I'm teaching him a lesson. Like he shouldn't be doing that, right? Arousing remorse, but not just to arouse remorse, to like call attention, to call someone out so that they change their behavior for the better, right? There is no offense if, not desiring to arouse remorse, he speaks saying, quotish, the apostrophe, surely you, parentheses, though, parentheses, and parentheses, as they say, under 20 years of age are ordained, 3 dots, surely you sit in a private place together with a woman. Come now, find out, parentheses, about it, close parentheses, do not let there come to be remorse for you afterwards. End apostrophe. If he is mad, if he is the first wrongdoer. I think that it was kind of getting at what I was saying, saying, hey, were you doing that? I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but maybe you should look into that and not do that so that you don't end up feeling bad later. Okay, so you just have to kind of phrase it differently. The 7th, meaning the 77th. I think that's enough for one day. We're not in a rush. It's not a race. So that was 74, 75, 76, and 77. Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely enough. That's going to be a lot to write on the title cards. So, don't punch people, don't slap people, don't defame people, and don't make people feel bad just for the sole purpose of making people feel bad. I feel like there's a theme here, like abuse. Don't physically, emotionally, and psychologically abuse your fellow monks or people in general, unless you're either trying to escape from a bad situation where you've been imprisoned or you're being held captive by ruffians, or you're trying to help people become better people. That's in the case of, or if you actually believe it to be true. So if you're saying, Larry touched himself inappropriately, and they're like, did you see it? No. Did you hear it? No. Why do you think that? Someone told me, and they're a reputable source. Oh, you're fine. You're good. You shouldn't be gossiping, right? I guess snitching is okay. All of these rules sort of start with gossiping, start with monks hearing something and spreading it about, saying, how can they do this? So I think the monks hearing something and saying, how can they do this, isn't itself any type of crime, because it's sort of the origin of all crime, right? Or rather, it's the catalyst by which issues come up, or something like that. All right. Well, thank you to the 17 monks. I'm sorry you got bullied. They were the exception. They got to be initiated as monks before the rule came up. That was the reason the rule came up, because they were ordained as monks and promptly wet their beds and whined about not getting fed in the middle of the night. And then Lord Buddha was like, why are there young boys making a lot of noise? And someone said, they're monks, Lord. And he's like, never again unless they're 20 years old. So these were the last of the juvenile monks. So they get bullied by the 6 monks. What's up with you guys? You guys are such bullies. Don't like hearing about it. Special thanks to Lady Buddha. If there's a Lord Buddha, then there's right. Technically, she's a Buddha, right? An enlightened one, an awakened one. Tara, who took the Bodhisattva vow with the addition of, and I will never incarnate as a man, after one of her teachers told her that at some point, in order to attain enlightenment, you will have to incarnate as a man. She was like, really? I will never do that. And I'm going to attain Buddhahood. So, proto-feminism, you might say. I guess that's it. There was a couple things I wanted to mention. One was because we got up to number 77, it reminded me of episode 77 of our sister podcast, The Esoteric Nerd, in which I recite all of volume 8 of Suryangama Sutra, which is a lot of fun. You're welcome to check it out. If you want to keep hearing me talk, it's audio only, but there's like a nice visual on the screen throughout. And the other thing was, has it been 17 seconds since I pointed to the corner of the screen? I'm just talking to make sure that there is. Yes, I made this one yesterday. I think that was yesterday morning. That's the same as the previous one, but shorter, and it doesn't make any sense unless you've seen the first one, but it has music. It's fun to watch. So that's that. Hope everyone's doing well, and I will go ahead and close. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.